guys, I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Amber from Kyuujin, and today we're back with you for Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 7.
We got Thorfinn to smile!
He has a friend!
Yes! So we got a friend in Einar, and last episode they needed a horse. So they were helped by an old man who valued work above all, right? You work for what you get. You need food, a roof and stuff, your own survival, you need to do stuff yourself.
Work for it.
He didn't believe in getting rich and expending so much that you can't take care of your own land.
And you need to ask people to take care of it for you because it's just too much for one man.
So considering he was Ketil's father, that clashed with his son, right? Because his son did what he didn't want to do. And even though I am more on Ketil's side, I also respect a lot of Sverkel's point of view about how you can have too much. Like, you value too much, and the more you have, the more you need, it looks like.
The more you're afraid to lose it, or that someone else gonna try to take it, basically.
Yeah. So Thorfinn and Einar worked for him, and he gave them a horse, and later on he also gave them tools and stuff to advance their little farm, and it's going pretty well.
They start to crop.
They're starting to, it's looking like something. And it's good for Thorfinn to see stuff being made instead of being destroyed. And he's also starting to understand the value in things, right? The little things sometimes. So maybe he's gonna start looking at his life and think, yep, there's stuff worth living for. I just need to go for it. That was a huge change last episode, a good step in the right direction. So I'm excited to see what happens this episode, and if we're gonna move, in time a little bit, if we're gonna see the farm take its form and everything. But I'm excited. Like, freedom is right there.
Right there.
Right there. And so maybe something's gonna come and fuck it up, but we'll see. So let's jump in this episode and find out. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of these, and check out our Patreon for the full-length reactions.
Alright, let's go.
Thieves and Iron Fist Ketil. We'll see how he deals with thieves. And I hope no one thinks it's like Einar and Thorfinn.
One of the slaves?
He won't believe that maybe, but there are others who believe anything. Snake, we're friends, don't blame us. The full-on beards and everything.
But it looks well with them. It is good.
Yeah. Well, they think differently.
You shouldn't expect people to pay you back with your status.
Now that you mention it. Because you are doing the work.
Yeah, you're putting the work into what you're doing.
He's never really seen himself as a slave, not since he's been here. I'll leave you two alone.
What's going on with him?
He's embarrassed to be here.
I hope that nothing bad's gonna happen with her.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
She jinxed it herself by having hope. Not my fault.
He's in love. You knew that. Oh, fuck. Quick reminder that she's a slave. Einar, you need to get rich and buy her back, like free her somehow. It's easy to forget they're slaves when we're, hanging out with these two.
But I mean, they have it more or less good with their work type. But
and Einar,
it's easy to forget the other slave conditions.
Einar doesn't act like he's a slave. Hopefully less than that.
やる気出てきた。自由への第一歩だ。来年の作付けは倍にするぜ。
There's that too. Like farming is about patience.
自由になる目はあるけどさ、アルナイズさんはその辺どう
I
な
don't know. That's why I was saying you need to get rich and somehow maybe help her.
本人に聞いてみれば。
聞いていいのかな、そういう。
Like how would she buy, like she's earning her keep. How would she buy herself out?
しばらくはやることないよ。
じゃあ伐採の続きを。
なので祈る。
What's praying?
Do it like your life depends on it.
神よ、たまえ、祈らせたまえ。
Thorfinn's like, okay.
Maybe you're praying too much.
Come on, help me. I love him so much.
祈るって。
Everyone.
すがれる者にはみんなすがる。
Okay.
そこへ座り、供物がないんだ。一生懸命やるぞ。
Better than doing nothing?
たまえ。ほら、手を組んで一緒に。
You have to teach him everything.
育て。
He's like a big grown-up baby.
I love that he's making faces.
中途半端が一番恥ずかしいんだぞ。せーの。
It is nice seeing some life in
Yeah.
him.
He's
God watching them come up. What the fuck are you doing?
he's acting his age.
I know.
He's back to being a little more like alive. Thank you, Einar. That's all you, man.
変わっとらんの、この農場
Who
は。
are you?
お
Trouble.
ふくろやおるまるは元気にしてるかい、親父殿。
Ah,
ああ、
older brother
Ah, okay.
of, you know, Omar.
チビの頃から変わっとらんな、今日なしのくせに。
人には得て増えてがあるのだ、トールギル。身に合った場所におるのが一
Maybe that's why he's been rebelling. Because his brother's been out fighting and he's been farming.
戦場が男を変えることもある。
陛下。
もう殿下とは呼ばないんだよ。お代わりになられた。戦場に出してみちゃどうだい。
He might get killed.
あいつの腕前で戦なんぞ。
Oh, you don't understand my life.
I mean, Thorfinn survived. Maybe he will
Yeah,
too.
but Omar,
But you shouldn't.
the guy that runs away angry every time things don't go his way.
Yeah. I mean, the war changes
いつ
people.
戻った？ 5、6日前だ。
まだ死なね
稽古つけてもらったおかげだよ、ヘビ。
Man, he's been around for a while.
その引いているのは何だ。おい、早くしろ。
Kids, they've been stealing.
手口の似た
Starving, probably, yeah.
してねこいつの仕業か
How
な
will he deal with this?
ガキでも盗みは盗みです
Desperation,
仕置
man.
きをお願いします
How about you give them a job and they get food in exchange? Help them out?
死んじゃうの。
大丈夫だよ。
Oh.
兄ちゃんがついてる。
要するにだ、それぞれの部族が点で勝手に目標を攻撃すんだ。海一の命知らずは俺だってな。戦の後は楽しい略奪大会。切り合うなんざしょっちゅうさ。オルマル、行ってみたいか？
Don't.
イングランドに。
もちろん行くよ、戦場。不思議上等だぜ。
I don't think he's made out for this.
土産をやろうかな。首飾りだ。
It's breaking my heart to see kids starving when they have
Oh my
so
gosh,
much
it's a
food.
necklace of ears.
Yeah, Daryl Dixon style.
食っていいの？
That's all of his victims.
耳なんてうまくねえぞ。
耳。
It took him a moment. See, you're not made for this, and it's totally okay.
とビビりだなお前は。どうする？鉄拳ケティルの息子なんだぞ。
Maybe he had a reputation,
Back in the day.
知らねえ。親父の若い頃の伝説だぞ。
but he's changed.
あっという間に自分の獲物が割れちまうもんだからよ。
Okay.
と素手で戦うらしいんだ。誰よ？
He was a berserker.
Do you think he knew her dad? Our dad?
I don't know.
この親父が。
結構鉄拳の名前が出るぜ。
But just like Thor, maybe he regrets it.
Maybe.
旅の疲れもあるだろう。奥で
He
休
doesn't want to talk about it.
そんなにやわじゃありませんぜ。
トールギル。
鉄拳ケティル殿。
旦那お休みの前にあれを片付けてもらって
Like a guy with such a reputation, how will he handle thieves? That will prove or confirm what he's become or what he, what he is.
あら、名前言え。
ほらやめんか。テルから喋れんのだぞ。さあ名前は。
失礼。妹はトーラ。
お前たちを弁護する者はいるかね。
母親と赤ん坊がいます。母親は病気で伏せってたんで。
Why do you think they were stealing?
父親の名前は。
父ちゃんはスノッディ。野菜を売りに行ったまま。
時代の借金をしています。
おお。
So he just
ス
left?
ノッディか。
Or he died, and that's why.
死んでんな。1年帰ってこねえんだ。帰らねえよ。大方物取りにでも。
Can you be more considerate?
ちょっと出かけてるだけだ。
He doesn't give a shit.
働き手を失った家族は引き取られるのが習わしだ。しかしこの頃はまだしもと赤子がおる。
Help
引き
them.
取る者はおるまい。
どうなさいましたあなた。
ちと目にゴミが入ってんな。
A
breaking
single man tear.
He's breaking his heart.
この二人は何を盗んだんだ。
Barely
余
nothing.
罪は多数ですがゲロしました。
脅して言わせたのではないだろうな。
鎌はかけましたけどね。空になるまでの間だけ仕置きも軽く済むぜ。旦那の名前が書いてあるんだってね。
ほとんど脅しだそれは。
え、身に覚えがないならこれ。
Or maybe have them lie because they think that if.
Under pressure.
Yeah.
腕一本だな。
Fuck off.
妹はまだ小さいだ。
なら妹の分の罰も。
Two
お前が
arms.
受けろ。
But if they break both of his arms, how are they gonna get money for food and stuff?
建前俺としちゃ
Thank you.
軽めでお願いしたいんだけど。
They are kids. I get that the law is the law, but still. Be strong, but for the right reasons, man.
わしの息子とは到底思えん。
War changes people?
盗みに入ったりしたのだ。仕置きせねばならんのだぞ。
Have them work for you and earn stuff.
私は反対です。死刑にも等しい仕置きだ。意見を申し上げてもよろしいでしょうか。
言うがいい、パテ。
Thank you, save me.
少年に重罰を与えるのはどうかと考えます。使い物になりません。
It's about the work.
年はいくつだ。大人と同じ仕事を始める年だな。盗みの損害と父親の借金を
Yeah, it's better than the other alternative.
当農場に雇い入れることを提案いたします。奉公人として引き継がせます。技術指導しま
Thank
すよ
you.
今回の損害は回収
And it's gonna be more of a profit for you at the end of it.
まったくだ。
He's so glad for that
せ
option.
ねばならん。
仕置きは棒打ちなどが妥当と思われます。
He really doesn't want any violence.
Yeah.
さすがに全く折檻なしというわけにはいきませんよ。
He's the master. He should decide.
Did you have a good point?
手癖の悪いのはどこへ行っても嫌われる。何回ですか？
None. Dude, you're in charge. I know it's about respect and everything, but
5、
he needs.
10回。
10回ずつね。
離れたら20回。俺を
He's a good kid.
He's a good brother.
面白い。いい度胸だ。
He's so
俺
horrifying.
にやらせてくれ。
No.
お前加減を知らねえからな。殺すなよ。
I would rather have Snake do the punishment, honestly.
行くぜ、
Because
カギ。
he won't hold back. Really not.
Yeah, you fucking bitch. You kidding me? And he's supposed to work after that?
待て、わしがやる。
Harsh reality, man.
鉄拳なんぞ。育児なしでは生きていけんのだ。皆がわしに当然のように。
It's not his wife.
No, he's the slave.
名士と呼ばれるこのわしは恐ろしい。暴力が恐ろしいのだ。
As you should. But this world is not nice on people like that.
悪いことであるはずはありませんわ。私が知っております。
そう言ってくれるのは
That's why he goes to her.
お前だけなのだ。そばにいてくれ。この世
Dude, she's a slave. Everything might not be through, you know that?
And he goes to her because she can't say anything.
she needs to be compassionate with you.
Oh my god, these episodes are short.
And you think that the wife knows? I think she knows for sure, and that's why she's so looking down on her.
Could be.
course.
Even if it wasn't that she knew she is a slave, the world is harsh. The reality is difficult. It's easy to oversee that, like overlook that when you're standing, with Einar, who never truly saw himself as a slave, right? He still had his hope.
I mean, he saw himself as a slave before he went to that place.
Ever
because
since,
that
yeah.
place gave him hope.
Ever since he's been here, and he's been told, like, you have a chance to buy your freedom back, he's loved this. Like, he's like, yeah, okay, like, I'm doing the work I used to do. It's what my mom and my sister and my father, have been doing. It's kind of like, it's his whole life, and he's been working towards this freedom. So in his mind, he's never been a slave, or, yeah, he hasn't been a slave, because he's still a free man in his heart, right? It's just something he needs to change. Like, the circumstances need to change.
The beginnings were a bit difficult with the other men that were supposed to be there to protect them.
Compare him to Thorfinn,
Yeah.
who's like, they won't help us, we deal with it, right? They won't give us a horse, okay? Like, he was just taking it because he was a slave, and that was his new reality, and there was no fighting that. But Einar has always been fighting. Like, how dare you eat my lunch? First freaking day he's been there. He's been fighting back. But those that have been living in this world for so long as slaves, or just workers and stuff, like, you go through shit, and this world is really harsh, and if you're not strong, you pay the consequences. This culture, unfortunately, like the Viking culture, was one of, not violence per se, but almost, right? Because fighting was valued, and you die on the battlefield. If you're not strong, you can't help. If you're not strong, you're not honored and stuff like that. So no wonder.
I wouldn't say that violence per se was
I said not,
value, but battlefield and being a warrior.
I literally said not violence per se, but it's still a culture of fights, right? War is something that, like, you want to go to war, you want to fight, you want to get your respect and stuff because you want to prove yourself. Valhalla is about warriors. It's not about, like, those that lay down and they don't want to go out there and they don't want to fight, right? If you don't do that, there are other ways to be honored and stuff. But Valhalla is about warriors, and that's valued. If you're a guy like Ketil and you're afraid of violence and you're afraid of war and stuff, that is normal to me. But for a Norse guy back in those days, it would have been looked down upon, and people might have lost respect for him. So he told those tales, hoping maybe people would leave him alone, hoping people would let him do his thing and they would respect him and just not question him. But it's tearing him apart. I thought he might have changed like Thor's.
Yeah.
But no, he's always been just against this. And his view of the world, he understands what people expect of him. So when he's facing, like, stuff like that, kids who steal, and you need to punish them, like, he knows he has to do it because otherwise people will look at him like he's weak. And that can't happen on his own farm.
Reputation can do a lot. It can earn you the respect, the fear, and the admiration of people. And sometimes without it, you're gonna be looked down upon.
And, like, if you spread a tale of you being, like, such a big warrior, terrifying guy, I know they are under the protection of Harold, King Harold, right? They said it. But that might not help you much if people think that you're a coward that can't protect his own farm. If you also, on top of the protection of Harold, spread the tale that you're a warrior, like, to be reckoned with, like, you're someone huge,
someone to not mess with.
Yeah, people won't necessarily attack, right? But I mean, everything around you is harsh. So how do you survive through that? Through lies and through breaking your own spirit by doing stuff like that. And I was thinking, like, Patil? Who's the slave guy who's in charge of the... Pather, thank you. He's an old slave, right? He used to be a slave, so he knows about the harsh reality of the world. He's the one that came up with the solution, but he was also very aware that something like that needs to be punished, because otherwise it's sending the message that anyone can do it.
Anyone can just walk over you and just take your stuff without any consequences. Because let's be honest, a beating like that is way less harsher than what other people could have done.
Cutting the arms, man.
Cutting hands, cutting arms,
Oh.
just taking your life.
Thorgil has been to war and it shows because he came back bloodthirsty and just harsh towards everything, like, and indifferent towards the violence and what it does to others, right? He's carrying around like a necklace of years, man. His brother is definitely not made for this.
We've seen what sometimes idolization can do, because he grew up with tales of his father being this iron fist Ketil, and he wanted to go above and beyond that reputation. So
Well,
he
it might have
became
been. It was expected of him too. It's the culture. Like
Yeah.
you're expected to.
I
do
mean, he
this.
had this sense of his father, and he went, I'm gonna be like my dad. I'm gonna be better than my dad, and he became a monster on the battlefield.
War does change people, but it might not be a bad thing to stay pure and away from violence, right? But they don't view it like that. Because like I said, like in order to reach Valhalla, you need to become a warrior. You need to search that respect, get that respect right on the battlefield as much as possible. But it is, I mean, like when I'm saying the world is harsh and stuff, like not just with violence and stuff, but if I'm Ketil and I'm looking at my table and it's filled, it's overflowing with meat and stuff, yeah, you earned that meat because you made your fortune, right? And I mean, it's not different today. Like some people have so much stuff, and then you compare it directly to kids who had absolutely nothing and they were so desperate they had to steal. Their father's dead, and I was thinking, Ketil has to to punish them, and he has to deal with this. But if you truly think about it, he should have looked on his own workers, right? He was lending money, and no one told him. He was aware that no one had been paying rent for that land, and he didn't send someone to check. If they had looked, they might have noticed that the father was gone and changed stuff. Because like they said, if the main bread owner is gone, arrangements can be made so that someone else wins money. Like the kid could have started working and gotten money for the family, and we could have avoided all of this. But no one checked, because I guess it's such a big farm, so many people work on it, you can't look at everyone at the same time.
It's easy to just forget some people.
But the fact that someone that owed you money probably died like a year ago at this point, and no one really noticed, and the kids got to a point where they were desperate, because what else were they gonna do? Sick mother, baby?
Unless, do you think that maybe the father wasn't able to pay back the money that he owed and he decided to just...
No, I'm thinking he couldn't
leave?
pay. I'm thinking he's in debt because he's gone. He was farming. He was selling vegetables. He was paying his rent, but now he's been gone and dead, I'm guessing. So that's why he didn't pay rent. That's why they were behind, because he hasn't paid. He's been away. He's been dead.
Yeah.
But if people had looked in on this, if people had noticed and been like, oh, something's wrong there, and they had cared a little bit, maybe this could have been avoided. But instead, you're left with kids. 12 years old is not old. In this world, it's a lot, but he's a fucking child. What could he do? Like, he had no idea, so he did what he thought was best. And when you're looking at those tables filled with meat and so much, with more food than they can fucking eat,
You're thinking, they're not gonna miss a bag of flour and some meat.
And he's
if
desperate.
If I take just a little bit,
and he's desperate, just like the slaves, right? Like, they have absolutely nothing else. Like, they are gonna do what you ask. Like, they are gonna do what's asked of them, whether or not they like it, because that's their reality. The world is harsh. Her name Arnell. Anyway, Einar's girlfriend. She cares about Einar and she has a crush on him. I'm thinking, like, they're starting they're growing their bond, and it's cool. Like, he is away, right? Like, he does his own thing, and like I said, he doesn't necessarily see himself as a slave. So for him talking to her, it's no big deal. But she gets punished for wasting time talking to him because she's a slave. You can't forget that. Like, she's expected to do her job, and the mistress, maybe she hates her because she's aware of what's going on, but even beyond that, the girl is a slave. She doesn't deserve more, according to them, more than what's been given to her, and she doesn't get anything if she doesn't work for it. Mm-hmm. So she's gonna do that. And like, even if the master is a good guy technically, these people are his slaves. He can do whatever he wants with them, and they're not gonna say no. So it's not about her caring about him. It's not about her helping him. She has to do it because otherwise she'll get punished, or she'll lose her opportunity. She has it better than a lot of other slaves, even though this is still a shitty situation. So you do what you can to survive as a slave or as a desperate child with a sick mother and a baby to feed and a sister too.
Yeah.
And like that kid, man, like taking 20 freaking hits, and that's the son. Thorgil went in like he was gonna fucking break him. So yeah, Ketil had to step in and do it himself. It broke him, and I understand that. But then again, you're not strong enough to say no to your own people, which is crazy to me because he's the master. But the way the world works is if you lose their respect, you'll lose everything.
Yeah, so he's in a harsh position. I mean, he did take the deal to just make them work for him as compensation.
He was looking for an out.
But it is true that to keep the respect and his reputation, I mean, his status as someone that you don't want to mess with, they need to be dealt a punishment for the thing that they stole.
Yeah, you need to keep up appearances. As terrible as that sounds, even if they are kids. But like I said, if you look at the beginning of the problem, they are sort of responsible because the guy went out and got killed and no one checked on him. No one realized. They were aware he wasn't paying rent because he did say, "Oh, that guy, true. Like he owes me rent. He owes you rent." No one checked.
But they weren't in enough money because they had way more than enough.
I guess though, if the word had spread that the guy wasn't paying rent, then they would have done something. But if no one was really aware, like they let it go, like it was no big deal. But in this case, like stealing a bag of flour, that is nothing. But since people were aware, he had to keep up appearances and deal with it. In a way, though, that it kind of explains why, like, he's offering slaves a chance to get out of this. Because if he doesn't like violence and he doesn't like war and stuff, maybe he doesn't like slaves either. Because slaves are kind of a consequence of war, right? Like you get slaves.
War, yeah.
You get slaves by destroying other people's towns and capturing them, and then they're victims, right? They go through that, and it's violence against the mind. It's violence against your dignity. So maybe that's why he's against it, but that's a good thing. Except it's not looked at like a good thing in this time. We need to get out of there.
I mean, he is giving them a way to get back their freedom by keeping appearances because he's making them work for it.
Yeah, at least. Well, that's also the values of him and his father. But beyond that, though, it's interesting to see the contrast of like Einar and Thorfinn alone in the woods, where they get to see things grow and they get to pray extra hard, which is fucking funny if you think about it, because it's nice. We're seeing Thorfinn live again, and he's finding hope. He's finding hope, and the two of them are enjoying themselves, and they're looking towards the future. And then you cut to kids who have basically nothing left, and they're doing desperate shit, knowing the consequences in order to live. And Arnid, Einar's girlfriend, also having to play a role and living a life that the guy's sleeping with her. He's freaking like twice her age. And she doesn't love the guy for sure. She cares. Like when the look she has on her face when she talks to Einar versus the look she has on her face when she's with him, she doesn't like that. But she
can't say no when he's there.
Exactly. So you cut to them versus like our two boys just finding hope and looking towards the future, whereas the others have no freaking future. That is the harsh reality of slaves.
With that scene, I know for sure that she won't be able to have her freedom back.
I don't know how you could buy it.
He will never sell her freedom back.
Because he needs her.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's also like I see why the boys could get something, because they are gonna be selling produce. Anyway, they're gonna be selling stuff and earning money. He's allowing them to earn money because they could just be doing this for him, but he also gets to maybe keep the farm after that. It's just that they're gonna be free. How is she making money? Like the work she's doing allows her a roof over her head, food, and a bed, right?
Yeah.
Like it's you get to live here, but I'm guessing what she earns is barely covering the work she's doing.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, so she's still a slave. Like she can't get out of this. That's the big difference. She can't say no. So she's not earning any extra money. So she won't be getting out of there. My thinking was that with a guy like Ketil, maybe you can, like for Einar, maybe you can work extra hard, make double the money, and buy her. then set her free. But now that we've seen how close he is to her, yes, I am also wondering if he will let her go.
Probably not.
Well, who knows? I don't know. Shitty world, man. Shitty world. The fact that it used to be like that too. In any case, we're gonna end this here because I think our cat wants attention. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode with us. If you want to see the next episode right away, it is on Patreon already. You can check it out. The link is in the description below.
And if you don't, the next one will be on YouTube next week. So we're gonna see you then, guys.
Bye!